There's a little garage on a small town street. I like to meet my friends there every week, and I know we'll talk about some facts and things, history and science and some crazy shit. Talking it out with Alan, Ben, and Nick, and I know that it's gonna be a weird-ass show. Ooh, insanity abounds. Ooh, the world is spinning round. Now we're gonna break it down. Thanks for tuning in. This is Informed and Confused. I'm Ben.
I'm Alan.
I'm Nick. Today, we're talking about QAnon. Because apparently it's become goddamn prescient.
Yeah.
Or at least something that we should all be aware of.
That's what prescient means. Come on.
Yep.
You're not. That is a full glass. You're not even drunk yet. You don't even have an excuse. We're supposed to be informed. We're supposed to be better than the Nutters.
Okay, hang on. Excuse is what I need?
And I just heard a ding, and weren't you the one who said silence your phones?
I believe he was.
I
did silence my phone.
Not well enough.
It is making noise. I don't believe that's...
So Alan, because you're prepared to be a serious adult today, what do you know about QAnon?
They really love Trump. They're conspiracy theorists. They are... I believe you've told me that they've caused some level of violence or are responsible for somebody being hurt and or killed before.
Quite a bit.
I have an example of one murder and one violent incident. Very specific ones. There are more, but...
Well, I think the incident that brought QAnon really out into the knowledge of a lot of people is the now infamous Pizzagate thing.
See, I really don't feel it did because normal people don't know what Pizzagate is. I'm watching footage of rallies that have gone on in the past few weeks where there are people outside that genuinely are supporting this that don't know what Pizzagate is. They don't know about Anthony Cornello and him taking out Frankie Boy Callow. No. There are fundamental problems with this. These people thrive on a lack of information.
Okay, well, then how about we start out with, for those of you listening who have no idea what Pizzagate is...
No, we're not starting with Pizzagate. Pizzagate's way down the list.
Is it?
No. Right now, we're answering the question, what is Q? So why don't you ask me? Why don't you ask the question?
Well, I mean, Q was a British inventor.
Ask the goddamn question.
He made things for 007 for a lot of years.
I believe he's also an immortal being who likes to harass the crew of the USS Enterprise.
Yeah, there's lots of Qs. So what Q are we talking about here? That was definitely not my phone, because my phone is off.
Well, what the fuck is dinging?
I don't know.
It's your garage, dude.
Studio.
Garage studio. Come on, let's at least meet him halfway.
Seeing as how he won't cooperate, how's about you ask the question, Alan?
Okay, Nick. What is Q?
A better question is who is Q?
Better question is why is Q?
As well. Q is supposedly an informant somewhere deeply embedded in the Trump administration. This has been passed around as a few different people. At one point, it was thought it was Jeff Sessions. It was thought it was Michael Flynn, JFK Jr., despite the fact that he's been dead, but they've got a thing about that. But I'm not going to give it credence or even name the fucking guy who claims he's JFK Jr. because it's that fucking stupid.
Well, Q predates Trump in the White House.
No. No. Q is a direct response to the Trump presidency. Q is 100% Trump-based. It did not start until 2016. No, Q is 100% a Trump thing.
Then how could the whole Pizzagate thing have been involved? Because that happened during the campaign run.
It happened December 4th of 2016.
thought it happened before the election.
You're talking about the Podesta hack, which is what led people to think about it.
Okay, I'm getting things mixed up.
Yes, you're getting so far off track. Stay on goddamn topic, and we're talking about who the fuck Q is right now. And you cut me off before I could even get to the two most likely candidates.
Fake news.
Actually, they call it Mockingbird Media, but that's not the point. One of the more likely options is that it's a Secret Service agent. I personally believe it's Barron Trump.
The 14-year-old.
I don't know how fucking old he is. That's just the dumbest sounding one.
I mean,
so
have you
He
seen-
is
go with
14. He is a ninth grader.
It's the dumbest theory I found, so I'm rolling with it. Sue me.
Please don't. He might want it. The rest of us don't.
So now you may be wondering, well, why are they called Q? And Q actually comes from a real thing, referring to Q-level clearance. It's a type of government-level top secret clearance. Basically, it lets you see certain documents. It's not a terribly high classification level. It's up there. It is under top secret, but it's not, like, insane.
It's not the top secret.
No, this is like if you're like a maid for a general or something, like you have to go in their office every day and they may have sensitive documents out on their
That
desk.
level of clearance.
This is to protect you from accidentally seeing something like that.
Right.
Q level clearance, you technically have access, but as all access then has to be approved when you're talking about like government information requisition. No, they'd never give it to you because
It sounds like Q access is the lowest level of secret access.
pretty much like it is access to classified information. It is a serious thing. Only serious people get this, and that is where they get their nugget of credibility to say Q is real. You'll notice that's not actually evidence that Q has Q-level clearance or is a real individual, but that's the justification.
He's claiming to be someone with Q-level clearance.
Yep, and he communicates through these things called Q drops.
Well, I thought 4chan was a major...
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, 8chan.
Okay,
4chan gets
one of the
roped into.
chans.
4chan gets roped into that they're totally unrelated. They're related in that they're based off of Japanese image hosting sites, but it's all shit that's like based off of 2chan, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But and you may be wondering, like, how could something this outlandish spread? Well, what if I told you such personalities as Alex Jones, Michael Flynn, Congressman Jim Jordan, Republican or RNC chairwoman Donna McDaniel, and even Donnie Boy Trump Jr. himself continually promote QAnon.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Among
many others.
You can start to see how deep these roots actually run.
Plus, if it all started with, I mean, this is the age of the internet. Makes it so easy to spread all sorts of disinformation around.
That's the biggest thing here. All of it's disinformation, and what's really funny is within the QAnon community, they talk about having an understanding of cyber warfare and that it's all a disinformation campaign, and they claim that they're above it and that they're the only ones with the truth. Well, literally preaching a disinformation campaign? Fuckers. Now you may be wondering, what would Q need to be doing these drops about? What's Q telling us about?
Child porn slavery, right?
That is a big part of it. That is a big part of it. Satanism, too. Lots of Satanism. We're going through a new satanic panic, and it's very disturbing that nobody learned their lesson from the last time the U.S. did this. But
well, they learned a lesson, just not necessarily
no one learned a single fucking
useful
thing.
one.
No one learned a single fucking thing. That's why we're back to it. We didn't learn from history, so we're repeating it. We had to. This is summer school. That's why it sucks so bad. 2020, America's summer school year. But no, Q has allied himself with God Emperor Trump in order to fight.
All right, clarification.
I'm sorry. God Emperor?
Is that you embellishing, or is that what they actually call them?
Yes.
That was an either-or question.
And I answered it accurately. You can't make a unilateral statement about Q because of how incredibly far-reaching it is because of the level of nonsense it's willing to tolerate.
So you're saying there is at least a faction of QAnon that refers to him as God Emperor Trump?
Minimally.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It is more safe to actually describe QAnon as an emergent religion than anything else. It's a belief-based ideology. There is also literally a thing called the Church of QAnon. It's online church services.
There's also a thing called the Church of Scientology, but we've already discounted that being a religion.
Yeah, but it's running the same. It's running the same scam the Mormons did by tacking itself onto the Christian Bible. And I'm sorry, but Christians will believe anything. You tell them Jesus said it, none of them will proofread to make sure. You just have to throw some numbers behind it to claim it's from a certain verse.
That's a pretty broad statement there.
Yeah.
I have met 3 legitimate Christians in my life that could accurately quote the Bible and tell you the verse.
It is true that a lot of the atheist people that I know are ex-Christians who just happen to finally read all the way through the Bible.
Though I would say there's a difference between not being able to quote it and automatically believing anybody who claims to quote it.
Oh, no, but people who claim they live by it, but then they can't repeat it to you. How well you living by it then, son?
Well, that was
And which sections are you living
seems
by?
like an internal inconsistency.
that wasn't the point you were making, but
Yeah. But in any case,
Yeah.
when you round up all of these pedophiles, all of these Satanist, devil-worshipping assholes, they all end up being in the Democratic Party and a part of
Of
something
course.
called the Deep State. The Deep State is an idea of a shadow government controlling shadow agencies in shadowy ways in order to manipulate the American people, all at the behest of the Illuminati,
And the aliens.
depending on who you ask.
Depending
Yes.
on who you ask,
Yes.
it's aliens.
Others will tell you it's the lizard people. Some people will tell you it's subterraneans. I'm sure there's at least one guy named Dave who says it's Bigfoot.
subterranean lizard people from space.
Yes. Dude,
They're
JFK
called like
Jr. 's still
Dracos
alive.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like they have an actual species name for this group, even aside from the lizard men. I don't remember it. I saw it on that weird QAnon documentary thing. I got halfway through before I realized it was QAnon and not just weird people talking about aliens.
I feel so bad that you had to sit through that without understanding.
I thought it was just going to be wacky people talking about aliens.
I mean, it is.
Then it turned out to be Q.
Except the aliens they're talking about are Mexicans. No, this is all more extension of like the idea that George Soros owns the world, that the left is just a large, shadowy, contiguous thing.
Yeah.
Like, in order to believe this, it also requires a fundamental misunderstanding of the left. This is like people who believe progressive Democrats and liberals are the same thing. That's 3 separate motherfucking camps.
Yeah.
These are the people screaming fascist communism at Obama.
The centrist.
Yeah.
A vast left-wing conspiracy, if you will.
Yes. Yes. Except I don't own it and get an ID card for it.
I am not a member of the vast left-wing conspiracy. Don't peddle that kind of crap
No,
around
you're
there.
a member of the vast right-wing conspiracy.
Damn right.
Are you trying to say you're winning right now? Are you Q?
I'm not Q. Q's not part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. They're nothing but a bunch of amateur wannabes.
I assure you some of them are members of the vast right-wing conspiracy because of some of the people that have gotten roped
only,
into this.
Only the ones we've planted there. Keep an eye on them.
I still love how they flip-flop on Jeff Sessions like every other week. Jeff Sessions is great. Jeff Sessions is the devil. Every other week, I swear to God. It doesn't even matter anymore. Jeff Sessions isn't a part of any discussion anymore, and it still comes up. It's ridiculous. These people are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Q disseminates these through Q drops on a website called 8chan, or as it's known now, 8kun. A lot of people like to get mad at the founder of 8chan because this did start while he still owned it. I need to nip that in the bud this fucking second. You can Google the guy's name. I'm not saying it because I'm not going to be responsible for one more person angrily rushing off to send hate mail before you understand the fucking guy. He is a free speech advocate. He believes what has happened is horrifying. Ultimately, the domain got stolen from him by a business partner who kept him above water when he was in financial difficulties. This same business partner chased him out of the country that he had chosen to live in after leaving the United States. He got married. He attempted to immigrate. He learned a fucking language and got chased out by this asshole. Like, do not be mad at the founder of 8chan/8kun. Be mad at the current owners. They are the true monsters.
They're the ones who are responsible for allowing this to continue.
Yeah.
Oh, on top of this, this guy's handicapped. He's in a wheelchair. He's literally not capable of providing for himself. So, like, there's literally been times when dealing with his former business partner where he was basically taken hostage. And it's just like, no, we're going to leave you somewhere without wheelchair access because we could get you in there and you're just stuck until we get you out.
That's pretty
Because
fucked
you're a
up.
white man in a country where that's not valuable.
It's pretty fucked up.
It's exceptionally fucked up. This guy has lived through absolutely insane things. He literally had to run through an airport with a temporary visa that got faxed over that was only valid for like another few hours in order to get out of the country to avoid being thrown in jail over a simple process issue that his business partner forced. Yeah. I just really need to hammer this home. If you want to be mad at the existence of things like this, the creator did not make it this way. He made a platform where you could say whatever the fuck you wanted, and then people said some awful shit. Blame the people who said it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm on a huge kick with that just because this guy has faced serious hate campaigns, and he has gone on the record. He's very public about like his positions now. I've had to have listened to at least 4 different interviews with the guy. He seems like a wonderful human being, and it's sad what he's having to deal with.
Yeah.
And like he's at the center of this shitstorm too, simply because of what he created, the platform.
Well, and unfortunately, that's the two-edged sword that is free speech and the internet is once you
Well,
start
here's-
saying that everyone should be able to say whatever they want, there's a decent population that are gonna say horrible, horrific things because they want.
Oh yeah, no, that is exactly it too. Like the bigger issue here though is like the people that are complaining that like they keep trying to shut down 8chan, which is why it's now back as 8kun. Because it was successfully shut down for a time, but it just keeps coming back like a fucking weed. No, when it was shut down, the people that were advocating hardest for it to come back were people that were not valuing a place for free debate. They want a place to say their hateful shit.
Yeah, they knew that they weren't going to be able to say it on other platforms.
In addition to Q drops, 8chan is also a favorite hangout of Nazis.
White supremacy.
What a surprise.
And other
Their
things.
politics board is absolutely lousy with them. If you ever want to understand these people, go there. You won't sleep right after. That's your warning.
So, what's like specifically what kind of stuff does he put in the Q drops?
Q drops are almost always cryptic statements and references to either pop culture or news events.
Pop culture?
Yes, they've included references to Pulp Fiction and Godfather 3. Yes!
How?
I don't want to actually read any Q drops because they were all nonsense, but
Okay.
things like when describing the political anglings of someone, comparing them to a character in The Godfather 3 that was exceptionally treacherous but still lived.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about backroom dealings, making things so. Now these statements are issued in cryptic ways. So Q followers, the Anons, if you will,
Can read them however they want to.
well, that's part of it, but they say Q is leaving them breadcrumbs. And they're taking
trail.
And they're taking the breadcrumbs and reassembling them backwards and baking them into new bread.
Oh, I'm hungry
Decoding Q drops is called baking. Decoders are called bread bakers.
So,
now. I kind of
Would-
no
would-
longer want to get baked.
Would you make bread that way? It's not how I'd make bread.
Not how I'd make bread.
I don't think that's how you make bread. Pretty sure.
Not how I'd get baked
Maybe
either.
croutons? Maybe?
So
Maybe stuffing. Stuffing, you take crumbs.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Make some turkey stuffing out of that.
So the Q drops, they're all posted by the same one single account.
Yes, that is the one thing, because of the way 8chan is encrypted. You do have specific tags tied to the poster that are password encrypted. I've never actually posted on 8chan, so I don't know 100%, and I am sorry for my ignorance on that level. But
in
it is
theory,
confirmable that it is coming from the same account every time. Whoever is in control of that account is
That's
up
what
to
we don't
wide
know.
speculation.
Yeah.
There's several
Couldn't
people
they
that
trace
say,
it to a
that
specific
was my question.
location?
well, yeah, if it was, a government agency doing it, but this is assholes with Google and a 10-year-old MacBook in their basement. Like, no.
Yeah.
This is Facebook moms. This is
Well,
people who are
you
out
would
of work
think
and too much time in
somebody
front of a
would.
computer.
Well, yeah, you would think it'd be on a government agency's radar, from what you've told me.
You would think, but our government is absolutely terrible at tracking domestic threats, which is the same reason we have a neo-Nazi problem. Seriously, hate crimes are not tracked appropriately in this country. Hate groups are not tracked appropriately in this country. People make arguments that's a violation of your civil rights. And when you start violating other people's civil rights, I do believe yours have been surrendered. Last I checked, that is the base interpretation of constitutional rights.
Yeah, you're not allowed to infringe on the rights of others. That is the limit of free speech.
Which is why I get angry about this. But again, we're not talking about law enforcement today. We're talking about wackadoos. Yeah. Although this does give a fair parlance. It's very interesting. QAnon has simultaneously a deep mistrust of the ABC agencies, as well as an identical reverence for them.
Well, I imagine because those are the same groups Trump is supposed to be using to.
Yep. Yeah, I would
Anytime-
imagine it was
anytime
one of. I would imagine it's one of those things where they support the abilities and the power wielded by them, but they don't support the people who are using that power and wielding it.
Oh, dude, it's like that fucking meme that went around when the FBI started abducting people in unmarked vans. And it was like when the NRA forgot to rise up against a tyrannical government. Yeah, it's the same shit. These people do not practice what they preach. They're hypocrites on every level. Now, in addition to the decoding, there's a fair amount of internal language to QAnon, and no one has enough time to go through all of it. You kind of have to just watch it long enough to get all of it. But some high points would be normies, which are just the regular folks walking around.
Muggles?
Pretty much. Patriots, which is anyone supporting Q and the president or the president. There's a overarching thing of just Donald Trump throughout this.
Yeah.
They believe Donald Trump was sent by God in order to vanquish the satanic deep state.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing something about that where Donald Trump is the only true patriot left in the country, and that's how he made it into the presidency.
All of the Anons are true patriots serving at the behest of the president in order to protect the Constitution and the children. Like, for a pedophile conspiracy, we have spent so little time about fucking kids, and I feel that's a good thing because no one should talk about that. But at the same time, don't forget the motivation for this is these people just think like a bunch of kids are getting raped.
Yeah.
That's why they support
where
this. They
the
want to stop
core
the
of
rape
it
of
came
children.
from, yeah.
Which isn't inherently bad, but there's no
Evidence
like
that any of this
there's
is
a
actually
ton of
going
human
on.
trafficking in this world, and a lot of it happens to minors, and that is awful. But causation and correlation are two completely separate fucking
It's not the Democratic
things.
Party doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like back to the language that they use, a very common slogan that comes up again and again and again: "Where we go one, we go all." It's taken from a movie, and I'm a hack and a fraud, so I don't remember the name of the movie. But the crux of it is it's about a sailing team that gets taken out by their adult captain. It's like a bunch of teenagers and shit. And they all die in a storm because they shouldn't have gone out, and the captain should have like known better and shouldn't have done it.
Were they looking for gold?
No, they were just like
Damn.
a sailing team, and were like trying to prove they had balls of steel. Like, I haven't seen the movie. I refuse to. That's not the point. But like the saying throughout the movie from the captain to these young men to inspire them is where we go one, we go all. And like QAnon took that because it sounds good, but like when Q followers go and like buy the movie off of Amazon, there's a fuck ton of 1-star reviews. It's like, you let all the kids die. That's the exact opposite of what QAnon does. We save kids. Yeah, these people are so fucking backwards. On top of that, there's this whole idea of pill culture.
Yeah.
If you're a normie who supports the Democrats and the deep state agenda, you've taken the blue pill. If you're a God-fearing
Matrix
patriot,
style.
you've taken the red pill.
Yeah.
If you're just down with Q because of nihilistic, let it all burn down, that's the black pill. There's pills for everything. What the world?
Yeah.
And just a silly one so we can end the list on a happier note.
I like that.
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Wait. Popcorn?
Popcorn.
I can't eat
They
popcorn
talk
anymore?
about popcorn all the time.
What is popcorn to them?
I'd like both of you to take a fair guess as to what popcorn's about.
In relation to the whole pill thing?
No, in relation
just-
to QAnon.
Oh, it's just a general thing.
It's a general thing that comes up in QAnon. Like there's a QAnon QVC equivalent on the internet. They sell like charm bracelets of various QAnon shit that has like pizza and buckets of popcorn and like little gold Qs. There's a whole stupid ass culture here, and I'm trying to really expose how dumb this is.
Is it some sort of representation of the truth bursting forth?
Yeah.
No, that is so much deeper, but you've had your
Okay, see, I was going to go down that route because the way you make popcorn is either heating it in oil or pressure cooking it, so enough pressure and the truth pops out.
You guys are putting so much more thought into this than any Q follower did. No, popcorn keeps coming up because all of politics, all of what you see on TV, it's just a show because of the Mockingbird media. None of it's real. It's just what Soros says. Enjoy the show, guys.
It's like we talk about popcorn movies.
Just watch the libs freak out as Trump dismantles their world and enjoy the show.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
There's been a few times where, like, when things have gone really bad for Trump, like during the impeachment, I saw posts like, my popcorn's on the floor. Just like, you sons of bitches. Oh. And, like, the most important thing to wrap up in all of this ideology, the predominant thing, the unilateral thing that you can say beyond any doubt is a worship of Donald J. Trump. Yeah. Like we've touched on it, but it really, really needs to be said. It is a religious level worship. They believe he is a holy avenger sent from God.
Yeah.
That's problematic in so many ways.
So
Yeah.
do we have any questions on the ideology before we move on? Are we clear? Because QAnon's done some shit.
Well,
Do they have like an I don't know if you call it an end times prophecy, but like do they have a state
No, there's
of
no end
ending?
goal. There's no end goal.
that
Not
they believe will
realistically.
happen?
Well, I mean, like what they want is they don't word it this way, but what it ultimately is based on overriding factors is they're looking for a white ethno-state utopia. And that's never going to happen because even white people don't like other
Now,
white people. Like
I
we're
would like
awful.
to,
We're the worst version of humanity.
I would like to point out this isn't a unilaterally United States issue either. There's now QAnon people
it's
popping up.
international.
In
Oh,
Germany,
it's
they're
been
being
international for a long time. Australia has a huge problem with
Australia
it too.
has a huge problem. I know. I keep seeing articles and stuff about them harassing Merkel.
What about
The-
I don't know
the
if you've
German,
heard anything about
You
this.
mean Angela Hitler, the cloned daughter of Hitler and Eva Braun?
Yeah, that's what they think.
Yeah, that's another Q conspiracy.
Yep.
What, cloned daughter of Hitler and Eva Braun?
Yep.
Angela Hitler.
So is she a clone of Eva Braun, a clone of Hitler, or a clone of a pre-existing
She
daughter
was a
of-
clone. Well, depending on who you talk to, I believe the prevailing theory is she was a clone
hang on.
made
No,
from both of their DNA.
I've got this. I've got the whole process. Don't worry.
You've already overridden me, so go.
No, you were right, but allow me to explain. The idea is that somewhere before Ava shot herself in the last days in the bunker, a doctor harvested a viable egg,
Right.
and that it had been on ice for, I believe it's 15 or 20 years. There's a gap in here. And then they used the daughter of one of Ava Braun's cousins, I believe it is, because I don't believe she had any sisters. It was a close family member, though, like the closest they could find in the Braun family.
Right.
Combined with Hitler's sperm that had been on ice from the same period. So it's Hitler and Ava Braun's child grown in a surrogate Braun.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
This isn't even the dumbest thing they believe, dude.
Yeah, no.
This one
well,
almost makes sense.
Okay,
And
and to be
Angela Merkel.
and what
Angela
blows
Hitler.
my mind
Come on,
about
get it
that
right.
is the fact that they're against the clone of Hitler, and yet so many Q people align with neo-Nazis and
Oh,
white
dude,
supremacy
most
and
of them
stuff. You'd
are-
think they'd be happy that Hitler's
There's
back.
a huge fascist contingent to this. And I know
Yeah.
I'm always talking about Nazis, but the reason I know about this is because of the Nazi contingent. It is literally the people I watch going crazier. Like, these are the people who fucking scare me.
But no, they don't. Oh. No, you pretty much answered my question. So yeah.
Do you got anything you need clear up?
Yeah, at least in the little bit that I quote unquote researched, I kept running across aliens. I'm not seeing much of aliens here. I'm just seeing Donald Trump worship. Where do the aliens fit in?
The aliens fit in that QAnon, as an umbrella conspiracy theory involving the government, as a side effect, has gotten every other conspiracy theory that has ever quasi-ly touched the government entangled in it. So now the deep state could be run by aliens. It could be run by the reptilians that FDR brokered a treaty with. It could be the Greys. It could be this. It could be that. Flat Earth fits into this.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of QAnon people that are flat Earthers.
Yeah, I saw a thing talking about moon Nazis being part of this.
Now here's the thing.
moon Nazis,
That was That was a fun movie.
right?
Yeah.
Here's the really interesting part of it. QAnon is so fractured in like any sense of a solid belief that there are actually people that are legitimate QAnon believers that get mad about the ridiculous shit that gets associated.
Well, yeah, it sounds
with
like some of the QAnon people would be in direct opposition
here's-
to other QAnon people because of
Here's
what they believe.
Here's the motivation that keeps coming up over and over again. There is a rational explanation for it. They're okay with them being like blaming it on aliens or Satanists or the Jews. They're fine with any of those explanations because they're not happy that they've come to the conclusion that X group is doing this. They're glad that they came to the conclusion X thing is happening. They don't care how it's solved. They just want it
They
solved.
don't care
So if
who
they're
gets
on their
blamed
side,
for it.
oh, it's the same as the this is a fairly disingenuous comparison, but it's the same as the anti-abortion crowd. You can have the worst fucking motivation to say no to that.
But so long as you're on their side, they'll open up their arms.
if you want the Supreme Court to overturn it, you'll take any support in that fight you can get. Any ally in a foxhole, man. Like it.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a fairly disingenuous comparison because the pro-life movement is a legitimate movement, confusing at times, contradictory at times, but legitimate.
But what it comes down to basically is that the QAnon supporters are willing to accept anybody in so long as they're behind the core Donald Trump
so long as they're
supremacy.
down with Trump and willing to say Q is right. So long as they support Q, it doesn't matter what they say so long as they say it's pro-Q. They can say something that completely contradicts another QAnon poster, like someone who could say even have a bigger social media following, because it's all like amateurs spreading this shit. It's
Well,
all
right.
social media. It's amateurs.
Just another case of the end.
It's Twitter and Facebook.
Just another case of the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
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 Which definite shout out to Twitter for getting rid of, what was it, 7,000 accounts linked to QAnon?
That was the initial trimming. I do believe it's still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even have it on my notes because by the time this is released, it will be more.
Yeah, it'll be...
Hence why this became prescient.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a reasonably solid understanding of these people, their beliefs, their wackadoodle conspiracy tendencies.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, their belief structure.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I have these in a specific order, but I'm going to open it up. Do you guys want to hear about the assassination of a mob boss or the shooting up of a pizzeria?
Let's go with the mob boss first.
You
Let's save the pizzeria.
Okay, mob boss?
Yeah.
Okay, personally, I feel the mob boss is a little bad, but I digress. Mob boss it is. Okay. So, on March 13th, 2019, pretty recent, okay, I'm not actually positive how to pronounce his first name because he's very Italian, so I'm about to butcher this, and then I'm going to hand it to Alan because it's funnier if I fuck it up first.
Okay.
Francesco Frankie Boy Cali. I believe it's Francesco.
Yes, it is.
Hold on. Wait.
I could have watched a video on this, but I read articles on this instead.
Yeah, Francesco Cali.
Yeah, in any case, Frankie Boy Cali. I will be referring to him as Frankie Boy from here on out. That was his mob nickname.
Okay, so actual modern mobster.
Yes, actual mob boss. He was a boss. He was a member of the. My autocorrect turned it to Gemini. Shit.
Gambini?
I believe it was the Gambini
family?
crime family.
Yeah.
Someone Google it real fast. I'm fucking sorry. I took notes.
I turned my phone off.
You turned it off? You know there's a silent button.
And I hit the silence, and you guys bitched about it making noise, so I made sure
and
it
it
wasn't
stopped making
me.
noise, which means you definitely didn't hit the silent button.
No, I definitely hit the silence button. Do I need to hand you my phone so you can examine the silence switch?
I can't work that Apple garbage.
Just because you haven't been trained.
The Gambino family.
Gambino. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that. But Frankie Boy Cali, in the early hours, was approached by a young man named Anthony Comello. Anthony was a, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call him a right-wing shit poster, but it's not like he had a following. It's not like he was anybody. He was just another Q follower, just another one of these people. Right. And he had tried to citizens arrest several individuals and politicians that he believed were connected to the deep state, and he got chased off. And
he attempted a citizen's arrest, like with a gun and.
Oh, I don't know if he was armed on any of the other ones. Pretty sure he had handcuffs. This time he was armed though, because he shot the ever-loving shit out of Frankie Boy. Now I don't know what weapon he used. I didn't want to go into that level of research because I felt that was just gruesome. But there is one detail about this that I think is fascinating. 10 shots into the motherfucker. That is on purpose. There is no mistake that you chose your target.
What was the range?
Well, to my understanding, handgun, so I'm going to assume under 30 yards, reasonably close.
It's a question of if he was at, like, nearly max range and he's never used a gun before, it might have, like...
If he is at nearly max range and he's never used that before, he's not hitting him. Like, honestly,
not every time.
Probably 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
Dude had 10 holes in him, and I didn't research the caliber, but that's a fair number of bullets.
Well, and if it's a handgun, that just means he emptied the clip into him.
Well,
the whole thing.
Well, depending on the gun, if it's a single or double. Not the point. 10 rounds is a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, shot dead. When he finally gets taken into court, he's writing messages on his hands because he knows he's going to be in front of cameras. He did a couple times. Some of the more notable ones were Q sent me. I love you, Donald Trump. Oh, God, I had one on here. MAGA forever. Yeah, so his motivations are very, very clear in this.
Yeah.
And other people have done much greater research on his social media presence, and there's any number of sources you can look into for that. QAnon Anonymous is a wonderful resource for trying to understand these people. They've been at it longer than anybody. But, like, just looking at his online activity, basically over the course of, like, 2 months, he went from having pretty much no online interaction to starting to be a shit poster to becoming a right-wing ideologue. He went from just sharing gross offensive memes to full text posts with no pictures, just ranting about shit. Like,
Right.
this stuff drives you fucking insane. And it starts from the place of you believe kids are being abused, and that is a powerful motivator.
Yeah.
As you
And a
witnessed
very
with me,
valid
kids
one.
in fucking cages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's not many things I scream about. That's one I'll scream about. But yeah, what's really concerning, oh, wait a minute. No. The other guy got sentenced. This is the guy who hasn't been sentenced yet. Last I checked in on this, they were checking into his mental competency.
Okay.
And I don't know how that shook out, but I do believe that he was ultimately ruled mentally indigent. So, insanity defense, which will be real interesting for every other Q-like person who goes through court, because that's devastating for the QAnon people, because that means believing in Q is a sign of mental illness.
But it's an easy scapegoat for anyone else who turns up in front of court.
Oh, he's probably not getting charged with murder, but he's definitely going to a facility for the next 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That is one confirmed QAnon murder. I do believe there is one other, but we're not here to talk about that today.
Yeah,
I believe this is reprehensible enough to establish these people are fucked. This guy decided to go on a citizen's arrest. Who does that?
Batman.
Batman don't arrest shit.
True.
Batman leaves them bound illegally somewhere as hostages at an agreed-upon drop-off point with the police.
Or runs him over with his rocket
The
car.
ransom is agreeing not to arrest him. Batman, the world's most successful hostage taker. Okay, the other thing to talk about, and I had it listed first because chronologically this
It happened
quite
first.
a while ago, and that's Pizzagate.
Yeah, and I apologize. I
No,
thought that
it's
this
fine,
happened
it's fine.
before the actual
No, it's fine,
election.
it's fine. Well, it started before the actual election. It started during the DNC hack when the whole Hillary Clinton email thing, John Podesta's emails.
Yeah.
A lot of QAnon believers keep claiming that the emails are lost, they're gone. No, they're not. No, they're not. We have all of them. They're all in the public record. You can Google them. You can read every single last one if you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not missing shit. And they somehow take the banal inter-emailing of a multi-office corporation functionally, because it's the Democratic, apparatus.
Right.
The Democratic Party apparatus.
Yeah.
Like, it's just shit like, do we need to order more of these style envelopes? Who's going to approve this next budgetary thing? Like, it's all...
We need 2 more boxes of clicky pens because she doesn't like the twist ones. Yeah.
There's literally shit like that. Yeah. It's all completely banal, but what they take out of it is from the lunch orders. They believe that
it's secret code.
When they're talking about food, they believe it is code for pedophilic rape or pedophilic cannibalism. Because eating the kids is a good part of it too.
Yeah, no, I saw
hadn't heard about that part.
That
falls into the alien
pineal
stuff.
glands and adrenochrome, because Hunter S. Thompson made it up, and it should be left as Hunter S. Thompson made it up.
Yeah, that falls into the group that believes this is all being done by aliens, that they're harvesting stuff from the children to make them effectively immortal. And these are the guys that claim that some of our most important politicians are actually aliens, and when they quote-unquote died, they just went into hiding and went on this adrenochrome, and they're still alive running the country.
Right.
This is our deep state.
Yeah, it's just another layer to the conspiracy onion. You will never get to the center of it. It's not happening.
All right, now, is it, like, with the pedophile thing, is it a matter of they just believe that everybody who's in the deep state is
anyone
a pedophile?
who votes Democrat diddles kids?
Okay, I thought it might have been like
according to QAnon, I'm a kid diddler.
I thought it might have been something like they run a pedophilic operation to raise money for their conspiracy or whatever. What?
Well, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's
I'm aware.
There's a whole thing with they believe that the Democratic National Party is involved in a massive child smuggling ring, and Hillary
Clinton figures so hard into this, and I don't want to talk about Q theories because they're all fucking terrible, and I don't
there's
want to
so many of
platform
them.
There are podcasts just about this topic. There's so much more here. I'm just trying to give you an overview, and I don't want to platform any of their fucking ideas. I don't. But in any case, from the Podesta emails, they take from the lunch orders, specifically coming from this one Chinese place and a pizza place. With the Chinese place, it was the walnut sauce, which they believe means semen. Okay, whatever.
It's that
Sorry
special
I am
sauce.
so sorry for belching into the mic, everyone. I'm so sorry. I promise you, I'll flagitate Ben later for this for this terrible, terrible mistake.
Ooh, flagellation.
Where was I? I
Pizzagate.
genuinely need help. Thank you.
Talking about the lunch orders.
My brain was looking for any excuse to not talk about this. My brain wants out. Dude, my search history, like the shit that's auto-filling because of like my search history now.
Because of having to look into
Dude,
this
the
stuff.
ads I'm getting are so horrible. My computer
God.
thinks I'm red-pilled as fuck. I think I may have to like just scrub the fucking thing. Like,
Well, you are supposed to delete your history every once in a while.
well, like it's in like my app histories now too, like watching shit on YouTube. Like, yeah, no, like
That's
it's,
a whole lot harder
like, I
to get
think-
rid of your
I think
history
this
on.
show has completely fucked the algorithm for me.
It's okay. The NSA are watching.
When aren't they? But in any case, they decided that walnut sauce was semen and that references to cheese pizza, which was commonly abbreviated to CP for some reason. I have no fucking clue. People are fucking weird.
Shorthand. Cheese pizza.
Yeah,
CP.
well, they decided
No, that makes
they
sense.
decided cheese pizza meant child porn. So like these large office functions where you have to feed a bunch of people. So yeah, you're gonna get pizza. It's DC. You have
And because
so many
not
options.
everyone eats meat, you do.
So this place called Comet Ping Pong Pizza, and I do believe it's still there. I'm not sure. I heard something about some other restaurant bought the property, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, in any case, this place had been around quite a while. It's just, cheap pizza. It's office food. It's what the underlings that actually run the show were getting fed.
Yeah.
This wasn't the big boardroom thing. This is
It's the
people were
equivalent
working.
of the Little Caesars Hot and Ready.
People were doing a 16-hour because they had a press event the next day, so they needed food. Like, it's that type of place. And
Right.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a little neighborhood place. But the Q supporters got it in their head that Comet Ping Pong Pizza was the center.
One supporter
Hang on,
specifically.
hang on. No, fuck tons of them believe it. That Comet Ping Pong Pizza was the location of a child sex and torture facility, a distribution center for a child trafficking ring. They believed it was run out of the basement of this location, while functioning harmlessly, serving the community above. The perfect cover. The perfect cover. Now, there's only one problem with this theory. Would either one of you care to guess it?
There's no basement.
No basement.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
It is a solid concrete slab. So, nope. There weren't even any health code violations in the walk-in. Place was fine.
Yep.
But that didn't stop another individual by the name of Edgar Welsh, December 4th of 2016,
Right after Trump got elected.
and right at the start of all this QAnon nonsense.
Yeah.
This was
Well, that's why I thought
early.
that this was the first major
Well,
thing to happen.
Okay, this is the one QAnon follower I can respect because he had enough balls to be like, kids are fucking in danger. I'm getting my gun and I'm solving this. I'm an American. That one had balls. The rest of them are all talk. I do not advocate his behavior, but I do advocate for his conviction. On every definition of the word, by the way, folks. But
I'll leave the advocating to you.
Yeah. December 4th, he shoots 3 rounds out of an AR platform. I don't know the specifics of what it is, but it was an AR-type rifle into the building from outside.
Was it only 3 shots? I
Only
thought he
3
fired
shots.
more than that.
Only 3 shots. No, he hit inside. He took out a door, a desk, and a file cabinet. So, dangerous projectiles traveled through that building at lethal velocities. No. He did a dumb thing. Like, you don't have to know gun laws to know you do not get to discharge. Like, that's not
Yeah.
a thing you just get to do. Even if you shoot a mugger, you're probably doing 6 months. You're probably doing 6 months while they file the paperwork that says you're okay, but you're doing 6 months. Yeah, no, that's kind of where the story really ends. He was promptly arrested. He was treated as the lunatic he was. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of question. This was before, like, everybody had been under a pressure cooker for multiple years, so cooler heads really prevailed on this one and actually ended it quickly and effectively. He's been sentenced. He got 4 years. Negligent discharge of a firearm. That's all he got charged with.
Yeah, you'd think he would have at least some sort of an assault on
You'd
that.
think it'd be a higher charge for negligent discharge. I would have assumed minimum 5 with a possibility of 10. It's a gun.
It's probably one of those where there is a minimum amount that's reasonably low, and in most cases, judges will give more.
Was
but-
he? Did he like? Were there people in the place he was actually shooting at? And did he or did he not know whether those people were or were not there?
I believe the restaurant was closed at the time he
It was,
did this.
but there
I
were
believe there was
employees
staff.
inside.
Yeah. I believe the managers were still there. Like,
And yes,
counting
he
money and
very
shit.
much-
There was somebody cleaning in the kitchen.
Cleaning.
Like it was not an unoccupied building. I know that for a fact.
Well, it's a question of, was he just trying to scare people, or was he actually trying to kill them?
His stated goal was to go in and save the children. And when he was arrested, he actually expected the police to be sympathetic when
Yeah,
he
he
told
tried
them
to
his motivation.
convince the
He
arresting
thought-
officers that no, they need to go
He
in there
thought
because
he
there's
was-
children being. Yeah.
He believed himself to be a hero.
Right. Yeah.
At no point in his mind did he ever consider the possibility of he was mistaken or that he could be misguided or that there was an issue with his overriding motivation.
Well,
Nothing.
and I
Yeah.
remember during his trial, he made a defense comment at one point about the fact that no, he still believed the basement was there. It was hidden, but it's still there. And you guys should all be out there looking
That's why
for
he
it.
only got 4 years. He's a fucking loon, so they negotiated down the more aggressive charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hate the insanity defense. I know that's not what it's called, but I still fucking hate getting ruled mentally indigent. I feel it's slap in the face, legally speaking. Lets a lot of fucked up people walk, and it lets a lot of people who got fucked by the system go to jail for life. Like it's a bad choice. Not the point of why we're here today, though.
Yep.
Although this does bring me to a good emotional state to discuss my last point, but before I throw it over to Alan for some information I think you'll all find jarring. But the thing that I've taken away from all of my research with this, watching footage of QAnon rallies, looking at all the shit posters, reading just page after page of these ridiculous screeds, trying to understand these people, the closest thing I've got to understanding, because they are incomprehensible, they're sad, they're lonely. Most of them, in their belief of this, have lost contact to close family. People talk about constantly about boomer culture being backwards these days and it being regressive, and clinging to it is something you have to cut out. Well, a lot of these people are fucking boomers. A lot of them are backwards and regressive, and a lot of them got cut out of their kids' life for it.
Yeah.
Not saying anybody's right here, but that is just how it happened.
It seems to
Yeah.
be the common trend among these people.
I genuinely want these people to come back together as families. I have a shit family, but I'd still rather be around for the kids and shit. Like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's disappointing that has to happen. It's also disappointing for the
Well,
families
it's just
of these individuals.
It doesn't have to happen. It just is.
Yeah.
That's
It
the
doesn't
crux of
have
it.
to happen, but it does. And this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel these are lonely people that look at the world and see that something at its core is fundamentally wrong, and I don't think that's a hard thing to see, and I don't think that's a hard sentiment to feel. But then they just blame it on the most nonsensical things.
That's just kind of your basic definition of people who are conspiracy theory prone in general. They're looking for things that don't make sense to make sense.
Honestly,
and
I
they're
think most
reaching out for any sort of
really,
answer.
I think most conspiracy theorists are bored. I think it's that life is mundane, and that mundane explanations aren't satisfying.
They want to see the fantastic in the mundane.
They want to live in an action movie. These people are
Yeah.
talking about eating their popcorn because they think this is an action movie and they want to be the star. And the way QAnon is set up to make you believe you are the star. You're part of the digital army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You swore an oath of office to protect this nation
Yeah.
from threats both foreign and domestic.
Yeah, you are a warrior on the front lines against the deep state.
Yeah.
And these people are running for office. It's not just a few fringe people in office.
And
Oh,
some
yeah.
of them are already in office.
Yeah.
Now, you briefly mentioned something about an oath. What?
Yes,
Like
they
Q
took
has an
the-
oath you have to
Well,
take?
This is a new development, like in the last few weeks from when this was recorded. I think this started like 3-4 weeks ago now.
So late June, early July
Yeah, something
of
like that.
2020?
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
And it's just the oath of civil service. It's the same oath that military members take, that FBI, CIA members take, that Treasury members take.
Well, this is
I
an
believe
oath
IRS
that...
members have to take this. I'm fairly certain if you work for the Michigan Secretary of State, you have to take this oath.
Or something similar to
Yeah,
it.
no,
The state one would probably have
it is no, well, this.
slight different wording, but
This is straight just the oath of civil service for the U.S.
But yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so is there claim that anyone who's taken this oath is part of QAnon,
digi-
whether they know it or not?
No, they're saying this because they're digital soldiers in the digital army.
You're taking the oath
But they're
to be
just
someone.
using the same oath
Yes.
that
Yeah.
everybody
They-
already
They
uses.
believe they are becoming servants of
They're
the
patriots,
country.
remember?
Yeah,
They put
yeah,
themselves
but
in
how
the
does
same
that
category.
work when there's already hundreds of thousands of people who take the oath for a completely different reason? How does that
They're
reconcile
stupid
with...
and don't think about it.
Those people are just
Stop
fakes.
giving them credit for thinking. They're not.
Yeah. I guess those people are just all fakes. They're the ones who are taking the oath for real. They're the ones who are really defending the country. There's nothing wrong with the oath. It's just the fact that
The
the
others
people
are a bunch
taking
of
it.
blue-pilled normies.
Yeah.
These people make my head hurt.
Now you know why I didn't want to do this. Now you know why I was smoking. Now you know why I'm angry about all this. Alan, talk about the motherfuckers that we need to avoid getting in office.
Sure. All right. Yeah, as we said, these people are prominent enough now that some of them are running for office, or people who are running for office are coming
I would say
on
it's
board
more than
with
some.
them.
Like, it's a whole fucking club now.
Don't
It's
have
as
any-
bad as like the Tea Partiers and stuff. They are their own subgroup.
This has roots back to the Tea Party, but don't get me started on that astroturfed pile of shit.
I don't have any data on state level offices, like people running for like state legislatures and stuff, but on the federal
they
level,
exist, though. I've seen a
oh,
few.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
On the federal level, though, as of August 3rd, which is the latest date I have data for, there were a total of 73 known candidates who either are or were running for federal office who are known supporters of QAnon.
That's
Of
more than
these-
one per state.
Of these, the breakdown
That is an
was
astronomically high number.
Seems like a few too many, right? Yeah.
yeah.
About 50 too many. Okay, about 73 too many.
Yeah. And
World's on fire.
well, admittedly, I didn't check all of these. All the ones I
I'm
did
sure you
check-
have some interesting names on that list.
Well, of all
There's
the
a
ones,
reason I told him to do this while I handled the more horrifying bit.
yeah. All the ones I found are either running for. Almost all of them are running for the House of Representatives, U.S. House of Representatives. There's a handful, maybe 4 or 5, if that, who are running for Senate seats
okay.
as well. Of the 73, you have 68 of them are Republicans. 2 of them are Democrats.
There is left-wing QAnon.
Yeah.
It does exist.
How?
They're fighting the deep state. There's a corrupt element of government. Oh, they still embrace the pedophile shit. That's why they're still QAnon.
No.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's one libertarian and 2 who are independents.
Do you know what's great about this? We haven't mentioned Epstein once.
I wasn't sure if we wanted
Don't!
to send me down that rabbit hole.
Alan, keep talking. Alan, keep talking.
There are currently 14 of them who have already made it to the general election and will be on the ballot in November.
I believe 2 of them also have a statistically probable chance of taking office.
Yeah. Then there's another 20 or so who currently still have to go through the primary process. And at least 3 or 4 of these, I think at least 4 of these, there are like 4 districts, House districts, where at least 2 of the people running in that primary are QAnon supporters.
Yeah, openly.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
Like it started as like various hashtag where we go one we go all things.
Right.
Like just as a general
now they're
thing.
just hashtagging
Oh,
QAnon.
yeah. Well, no. And then people grilled them on it, and like they distanced, and then multiple people went above their staff and was like, no, QAnon.
well, the group, this whole group here, does run I think I have a total of 38 here. They run the gamut from put out a few hashtags and now they deny they ever did it, to people who, oh my God, the level of they're just flat out QAnon people who are running on a QAnon platform, basically. They don't deny it at all. They go out of their way to make this evident.
That also tells you like where like some of these are like concentrated populations, which is what's way scarier to me, because if you get a community behind something, like humans didn't evolve on logic. We evolved on who could sell us on fighting our enemies. That's why we beat out other forms of primitive man. We'd come back with a larger force because we could negotiate with one another for it. We're based on being tricked.
Yeah.
We're emotional people, not intellectual people, for the most part.
We didn't evolve on cold logic.
Yeah. I don't have any hard evidence to back this up, but based on my research, I would guess, if I had to put a number on this, somewhere between a third to a half of these people are probably just putting hashtags and shit on their Twitter accounts because, ooh, these people vote. I don't give a shit how crazy they are.
Oh, yeah.
I want
They're
their vote.
just
That is
on the
definitely
bandwagon.
part of it, but
Yeah.
once they're in office, they have to deliver on some level of it.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, they will immediately lose the
well,
support.
like I said, and then at least another half, at least the other half or more, are actual
Honestly
believers.
believe it.
Honest to God,
Oh, yeah.
believe it in
That's-
some way or another.
That's another thing that's terrifying, because you meet people every day that say shit that sounds insane, that's in line with the current agenda, and you have to wonder.
All right. Like I said, I've got the full list here, all 38, but we're gonna go down a few choice selections
Give us,
here.
give
Yeah,
us the
give us
highlights.
the highlights.
Just some examples. We have Mike Cargile, I believe is his name, who's a Republican running for the in California for the 35th congressional district there.
I vote we start a harassment campaign where we send him Argyle socks.
He's one of the ones who's already going to be in the general election. California is one of the ones that has jungle primaries, where it's basically a merged Democrats and Republicans running in the same primary, and then whoever is like in the top 2 or 3
That term sounds
automatically.
That term
Yeah.
sounds like it has awful racial implications behind it.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
imagine
jungle
it's-
got used really badly in this country for a long fucking
I imagine
time.
in this case it's more
I
like
never heard it used.
how
that.
they
yeah,
talk
you
about
don't
like
because
concrete
you don't because your
jungle
brain's not
and-
broken. Mine is.
Yeah.
I believe the official terminology for it is a what is it? Not shared primary. I can't remember.
Could
It
be
doesn't-
shared
yeah.
primary.
That's not
It
the word,
doesn't
but it
matter.
doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So this guy's running
It's
over
dual
in
primary.
We're informed
California.
and confused.
Yeah.
Come on.
So just a matter of with the guys in California, they didn't necessarily beat other people. They just came in the top 2 or 3. So it gives you an idea
yeah,
of
they
how
they
well
take
they're doing.
the group.
Yeah,
at
and
the top.
and then those all run in the general election.
Okay. So there's no real telling whether he's got any decent traction or not. He just ended up in the top end.
He came in the top 2 or 3. Sometimes, in some cases, there's only 2 people running, so that means they just get in there by default.
Right.
You'd be amazed how many civic offices just sit unoccupied.
Oh yeah, especially the lower level ones. Yeah.
There's a good chance if you move out into like an unincorporated area, you can become a sheriff. There's a really good shot at it.
Yeah. Anyways, the thing with him, he's put in his Twitter profile the WWG1 WGA thing.
Yeah.
Which is
where we go one, we go all.
Yeah, that's the most common amongst all of them.
Yeah.
Even more than the QAnon
it's
label.
Like it's the master slogan for the movement.
Yeah. Yeah, even more than hashtag QAnon, they put that in there.
Okay.
Well, that's like their coded
It's
way
their
to get
rallying
it past
cry.
thing. It's the way it's a way to red pill people. So it's like if you just say QAnon, there are people on the right that do know what's up with it and just instinctively stay away. But if instead it's hashtagged where we go one, we go all. Well, that just sounds kind of vaguely inspirational. You don't know about all the teens that died on that boat.
Yeah.
It vaguely reminds me of the old Three Musketeers, one for all for one, one for
that
all
was another
type deal.
common one early on, but then it got usurped by where we go one, we go all. But they still talk about the Three Musketeer ideology, which also shows that they've never seen the movie. They've only seen like Hanna-Barbera knockoff cartoons of it.
But anyways, this guy is kind of unique. Was unique because he also had another hashtag he put on there, hashtag Oathkeeper, which is a reference.
Nazis.
Our militia group is.
They're Nazis. They are straight Nazis. They are an armed militia, but they are straight
Oathkeeper
fucking
is
Nazis.
a neo-Nazi group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd never heard of them before, so I have no idea who we're
they're
talking
the type
about.
of people that prompt me to do things like research how ballistic armor works. They're the ones talking about getting violent in the street to retake what's theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so that's a connection we hadn't drawn yet. Militia groups.
Yeah.
There's certain poisonous aspects of this that I purposely avoided just because, like I said before, I don't want to platform anything. And we're not, but there were certain things that I took a wide berth of because I knew they would come up and I didn't need to start the fire.
There's some rabbit holes we don't need to go down.
There's too many.
Well,
you'll never find.
Like I told you, there's some stuff in here you didn't bring up. So I mean,
oh yeah,
do you want me to bring it up?
Oh
yes.
No, go
okay.
ahead. No, please do. It's a case of the reason I didn't bring it up was a conscious choice because I knew shit was going to come up either way, and there was no way to prepare.
I mean, I'm not going to go into
this
depth
shit
about any of it.
This shit is so umbrella. If it's something I know more about, I will. But this is so far-reaching.
Yeah.
So who else do we have?
We have Marjorie Taylor Greene, another Republican, running for the 14th Congressional District in Georgia.
I believe she's the one that superseded her staff.
It could be one of them. She's currently going to be in her primary is in a runoff.
Okay.
So it's got to go to a second round. She's got a video on there where she calls Q a patriot, and he's worth listening to. Tweeted hashtag Great Awakening, which is another thing with them, I guess.
Great Awakening, the storm is coming. There's tons. I just could not do them all.
Yeah, she's tweeting with Alex Jones when she did that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, Alex Jones says he doesn't believe QAnon, but that the QAnon people are on the right track. So he actively platforms it, but claims he's not a supporter. That's fucking Alex Jones.
Like this woman
keeps it on the down
low. She's like actively preaching it here because she like put out a Twitter post asking her followers to message her with questions about Q, so she can like bring them on board. And get them So she's not just supporting it; she's out there actually trying to recruit.
Michael Flynn was supporting this shit while he was still working in the White House.
That one surprises me. I mean, I know Flynn went through and did a lot of shit.
Old man,
but
military hawk, terrified of cyber warfare, doesn't have a tremendous understanding of it. Is told that there's digital soldiers ready for the right wing, which is the wing he's a part of. It tracks to me.
Okay. Okay. From that way, I can understand it.
All right. Next, we have K.W. Miller, who is he's the independent, running for in Florida for the 18th Congressional District. Because he's an independent. He didn't go through a primary. He's just on the general election ballot. He frequently tweets out hashtag Pizzagate, Red Pill, WWG. I'm just going to abbreviate that because I don't want to say it every bloody time.
I can never keep it straight in my head, so I just say the whole
Yeah,
thing.
a number of them. The website I got this from. A number of them point out that they several of them frequently misspell it.
Yes. Yeah, none of them can spell. That's just consistent through every single post. Dude, there are misspellings and Q drops. Like, all of this shit's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's those that would claim that the misspelling is on purpose.
Dude, this is why I say Q is barren. He's just bored.
Yeah.
He's bored. There's no supervision. Endless budget.
14-year-old who has his dad to listen to all day.
No, his dad's busy watching
Well-
TV. Trump doesn't love his kids. He doesn't spend any time.
No,
with them.
he's too busy golfing.
Exactly. He can't be busy raising Barron.
But,
I genuinely feel bad for all of his kids, all of them, even the
Yeah.
shitbag older ones. I feel bad for. They're all pitiable. That's what it is.
They have Donald Trump as a father. That is,
Yeah,
in and of
They are all
itself is-
pitiable.
they are
Yeah.
all products of their father.
Yeah, even Tiffany, the one that like has stayed out of everything, she ain't a saint.
All right. Let's see.
She's also not like an evil satanic pedophile or anything, but she.
Yeah.
She's
Another one.
just a person.
Another one. Joe Ray Perkins,
Yes.
Republican, running for the Senate seat in Oregon.
I believe he's actually got a reasonable shot.
Yeah. One of the ones who's won their primary already. He was one of the ones who posted a video of himself taking the oath,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I gotta say, as a right winger, just no, you
But,
fucking
okay,
bastards.
honestly, Alan, own that you're a centrist because that's really what you are. The progressive wing in this country has decided to become active, and it's shifting the pendulum. I realize this may be like painful
All right.
on an identity
all right,
level,
we'll call
but on the ideological scale, you're not with what the right wing of this country
All right,
is.
I'm a conservative. Can I
Yes,
call
you are a
myself that?
central conservative.
I'm a moderate conservative.
Yes. Yep.
I guess if you want to put it that way, people are still saying death to moderates, though. A centrist just means you have diverse views. A moderate means, well, let's listen to both sides. The other side's Nazis. Well, let's listen to both sides. God damn
Well,
it.
that's not,
You know,
that's not how
I
I
feel
define
you
it. But we're not
could,
here to talk about my
Describe
political
yourself
preferences.
oxymoronic as a liberal conservative.
No.
That's a thing.
It
I mean,
is.
you could be a rhino. The QAnons hate rhinos, too.
No, I am not a rhino, but there are other connotations.
But if
that
you're a
that
rhino,
do not
you're
apply to
always
me.
horny.
I want a Chiapa rhino.
Well, that went off on a tangent real quick. All right. Anyways, let's see here. What else we got? Teresa Rayborn. She was one of the ones I saw mentioned on a number of articles. She retweeted the video of Michael Flynn taking the oath.
Is she an incumbent
Flynn and his entire family. Get it
Oh, yeah.
right. Every single Flynn was there taking it with him.
really?
His entire family. Wife, kids, Flynn Jr. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
All of them.
A large group. It was a large group of people. I didn't know if they were all related or not. I knew a couple of them
Wife
were
and kids.
based on the hashtags.
That's
But
his wife and kids.
well, there's more than just his wife and kids. There were other
Interesting.
people in that video.
To my understanding, he has a very large family.
Okay, yeah. So it's, yeah. There's at least 6 other people there, I think.
I haven't watched the video.
Maybe
with him,
some
but-
cousins.
Well, to my
Brothers,
understanding, he
sisters.
comes from that age where you didn't use protection because that's not what God wants. And I'm not trying to project that on somebody. I'm not trying to say that's what.
Right, but he's just, that kind
yeah,
of.
I could fully.
Yeah.
I don't know this, but I could fully see. Married his wife at 18, met in high school or whatever.
Well, I think
had
it
a
was-
bunch of kids by
No,
the time
it
they
was-
were fucking 40 type of
I mean,
thing. you
admittedly, I
know?
didn't scrutinize the screenshot of the video, but it looked like it was mostly other adults his own age. But I just assumed it was like maybe brothers or people he works with or something.
Well, I do believe Flynn Jr. is like in his late 30s. So
There was a range. There was some younger
yeah,
people, some older people.
yeah,
Anyways,
not the point.
yeah.
Not the point. It was his family though.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Here, because this mentions another term we haven't discussed yet. Rob Weber, Republican, running for the Ohio 9th Congressional District, has won his primary. Congratulated someone posting a video showing their support for Q by saying, "Congrats on being 17."
I'm being
Q is
17.
the 17th letter of the alphabet.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they say that anytime
They have a bunch of codes. They're just dumb people
Right.
with dumb codes.
Yeah, specifically they use it for anybody who Q has actually like linked to their post or video. If
Well,
you've gotten the attention of
well, at
Q,
one
you've been
point-
17.
At one point,
Okay.
when the military football game was happening in 2017, I forget what it's called. I don't watch sports ball. Fucking sue me. I don't care. When that happened, the president always gets a jersey from all of the military sports
It
competitions.
was number 17.
Yeah, because they get the number based on the year. Obama had 08. Like it's
Right.
not that weird.
Right.
That's just how they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
QAnons took it as a sign of support for the movement because 17 is Q.
Yeah.
Okay.
They took that as a confirmation. Another thing we didn't touch on, but it's a common expression within the community, future proves past, which means if a Q drop says something and it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that the Q drop was wrong. That means it's referencing a future event that's yet to come, and then they justify it later, post hoc, well after the fact. It's like Nostradamus. It's the same bullshit
so
phenomenon.
even if it's wrong, it's still going to happen eventually.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So they're never wrong. Because if it doesn't agree, it will just be later.
yeah, it's
later,
no,
later.
this wasn't referencing that. This is referencing something that still hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this one, you kind of alluded to this earlier. Ron Curtis, Republican, Hawaii's 1st Congressional District.
This is stupidly familiar. There's so many fucking
Yeah.
people in
All right,
this.
now, all the ones I named from this point on are all people who have not yet run in a primary. So
Okay.
they still got 2 rounds of election to go through before they actually get anywhere near power. He has tweeted the slogan repeatedly, multiple videos of other people taking the oath, and retweeted a likely fake account of, I know you didn't want to mention the name of the individual that they think is actually JFK Jr.
If you want to, it doesn't matter.
Vincent Fusca?
Fusca.
Vincent Fusca. Yeah.
Oh, he embraces it. He says he's JFK Jr.
Yeah.
He thinks he's...
He looks nothing like JFK Jr. JFK Jr. was a good-looking man. This man has a foot for a face.
Is he supposed to be like a JFK Jr. was his past life? Or...
I believe no. I believe the explanation is that he was government mind wiped and dumped somewhere to be left as a secure asset to levy later against the Kennedys because of the Kennedy family's massive political influence.
Oh,
And then he somehow went rogue, remembering who he was, breaking their programming. Yeah, it's all stupid. This is why I didn't want to talk about it. And I'm not even sure that's the right story. But again, it doesn't matter because some Q person will tell you that story.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
This guy's not the only one who mentions the JFK thing.
No, but a lot of people like support that. That's the guy. Like he is JFK Jr. as far as QAnon's concerned.
Yeah.
Now, why is JFK Jr. so important to QAnon?
I don't know or
That's just
care.
they randomly
I don't
picked
know
him.
or care.
Okay,
There's shit like
okay.
there's the Liberty Bell boat thing with it. There's this whole long conspiracy about mob connections and breaking free of
He's a
aid.
Kennedy. He died. There's a conspiracy theory around it.
Yeah,
Fair.
just accept that it's a Kennedy. Like
Yeah.
that's the real thing here. It's a Kennedy. Yet another reason that the Kennedys should do what they're best at and die out. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're lovely
Oh.
people. But
Oof.
I do enjoy listening to the dead Kennedys.
see,
All right.
that's reason enough.
Yeah. All right. Couple I'll mention here. Elizabeth Felton and what's the other one? Reba Cheryl. Only person I've ever heard named Reba other than Reba McEntire.
Huh.
First time I've ever heard that name outside of that context before. Both of them are Republicans running in the primary for Florida's 21st congressional district. One.
Florida's been home to a couple QAnon rallies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida tends to attract
Yeah, there's
interesting
several
people,
Florida
let's
districts
say.
here.
We should wall it off. That is the wall America needs to build on the U.S.-Florida border.
So you're saying RVB had the right idea? Oh, they didn't wall it off. They kind of detached it.
I mean, we could cut it free.
Well,
and
they
let
blew it
float
up.
to Cuba, and then it's their problem. Think about how excited they'll be. They'll have all those new cars to run with duct tape and chewing gum.
Well, the Cubans will love it because at that point we'll have to lift the embargo just so everybody can go to Disney World.
No, we've still got the one in California, and we're fine.
That's Disneyland, otherwise known as Disney World's poor, pathetic excuse of a brother.
I've been told it's way better.
Okay,
I've heard exactly
Disneyland,
the opposite.
Yeah, Disneyland is just the Magic Kingdom, whereas Disney World is the Magic Kingdom.
Although
and then some.
Okay, it's the
Disneyland
Magic
has
Kingdom
the better
and
Lego.
California.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do in California.
There's
Oh
what to
yeah,
do in
there's
Florida.
Legoland California, which is
There
by
are-
far the
okay,
biggest
There's like
one.
3 things to do in Florida, and all of them involve cockroaches and mosquitoes, and the third involves meth. So you know what? No.
Anyways,
There's always drinking.
Which still involves the mosquitoes and the cockroaches down there, dude.
True.
You may find the one non-meth bar in the state. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Reba Cheryl is actually one of the more, I guess, aggressively pro-Q ones. She's actually actively attended rallies and says she's been a follower since the very beginning.
This sounds like something where everybody's going to claim to have been a follower since the very beginning. But
What's really funny is like there have been QAnon rallies in DC, and they talk about like going up the street to Comet Ping Pong Pizza and tearing those people out of there, and then they never do it because they're all spineless shits with no conviction.
All right.
I don't know if that's the takeaway we want to take away from this, but
My takeaway is that they're spineless shits. It's an aggressive, dangerous ideology, which is why it needs to be stopped, but they are not active as of now.
All right.
and they don't need to be provoked further.
Winnie Hartstrong. That's a weird last name.
That name's a winner in this community. Vote Heartstrong.
Republican running for Missouri's 1st congressional district. She called QAnon very clever and a perfect way to deal with a very diffusive evil. Also pushed a conspiracy theory about George Floyd's killing being staged.
Oh yeah, no, they're big fans of crisis
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Take every worst component you've heard of like the current political ecosystem. QAnon.
Oh yeah. They're the ones who were spreading all the stuff about Antifa during the Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
No, the whole thing about Antifa secretly using the
Antifa's not
riots
an organization.
and-
It's an ideology started in the 90s
Yeah.
in Europe to fight fascist protesters.
Anyways,
Anyways.
if you can think of it, then QAnon is supporting it. It's ridiculous. So who else?
We also have Jesse Melton and Darlene Swaffer, who were both Republicans running for the Florida 22nd congressional
I don't
district.
know why Swaffer is funny.
Because it sounds funny.
Well, it sounds like a mashup between the sexual act swaffling and a Swiffer.
That's definitely why I laughed. The first one, not the second one.
Well, it just sounds like a mashup of the two, so I'm now trying to imagine what the product is.
Well, it's swaffling with a Swiffer, obviously.
How does that
Moving on. James Mitchell, the one Democrat I found information on, running for Washington State's 8th congressional district. Primary. Still. Has tweeted slogans, talked about Pizzagate, talked about the New York sex trafficking thing, and has posted anti-vaxxer stuff.
That's common too.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, they hate Bill Gates because they think the microdot thing, which is actually just a UV tattoo to give them quick access to your medical records, they think that's a liquid microchip that will be used to track us, render us infertile, make us compliant. They call it the mark of the beast, all that fun type of shit. Yeah, they really don't like Bill Gates. There are valid reasons to not like Bill Gates. And admittedly, his attempts at controlling global population are shady, but...
Yeah, I forget which one, but at least one of these people was going on about Bill Gates sticking us with microchips through vaccines.
Yeah.
Their side of it is nonsense. There are genuine reasons to look at Bill Gates sideways. They're not naming any of them, though.
No. All right, and the final one I'm going to mention here is Danielle Stella, Republican running for the Minnesota 5th Congressional District. Still has to have her primary. She's probably the most openly active one on this list. She's frequently wears Q apparel, constantly tweeting support for the group. She endorsed the conspiracy theory that Representative Ilhan Omar, who would be her opponent.
They don't
in the
like
general,
it. They don't like any Democrat.
she would be her opponent if she made it to the general election. Tried to hire a hitman to assassinate someone. She got banned from Twitter for suggesting that Omar should be hung for treason.
That's
Pretty
Good for Twitter.
Pretty frickin'
It's
bad.
Extreme.
Well, they believe when these pedophiles are finally busted, like there's talk about sealed indictments and shit, they believe that they will be executed by the state. They don't believe that they're going to prison. They believe they're being killed, and they believe that's justice somehow.
We're going back to the...
It's draconian as fuck.
Yeah, because I know there's still a couple of states that still allow...
federal. You can kill someone in any state under federal law.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Federal law supersedes all state jurisdictions, and if somebody really puts a sticking point on it, what they'll do is they'll just transfer you to a facility in a state where it is allowed, and they'll just use existing facilities.
Well, right.
Like, there's a million loopholes in the U.S. legal system so that if you are a government employee, it can be made legal. The Trump administration is actually a pretty perfect example of this. If you load the deck enough, you can force it through. Like, that's what screwed Nixon. Nixon wasn't wrong when he said, I'm the president, that makes it legal. It can be if the president has enough control over the extant parties.
Right.
He didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nixon did not have enough support within the Republican Party when everything finally went down.
And it's one of those things, if you look at it a certain way, Trump has control not only of the right wing of this country, he has control of the left. He can direct outrage by making specific comments. He can diffuse interest in certain things by distracting with other nonsense, like telling you to inject
in a lot of
disinfectants.
ways, he's playing the part of a puppet master.
Oh, and that's a common narrative within the movement.
I don't like to refer to him like that because that acknowledges he's
another
competent.
common expression is saying that he's playing 4D chess, so we can't comprehend his moves with our mere three-dimensional minds.
Trump's biggest asset over the course of his presidency up to this point has been the fact, and I don't think he did this deliberately, this kind of happened and allowed this to the thing that is the Trump presidency to occur. Because we live in a 24-hour news cycle, and he's basically overloaded the system. He's got so many scandals going on so frequently that no one can pay attention to one long enough.
And to an
another one
extent,
happens.
we become desensitized to it because it's just another Trump thing.
It's a never-ending gish gab. He makes so many nonsense arguments, you cannot argue against all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He overloads our system.
Yeah.
That
really
strategy is called a gish gab.
Yeah.
Usually it's not used to this extent.
All right. Well, that is all of the particular cases I have.
So, this whole thing, aside from being rather disturbing, just the fact that there are this many people that believe this, is also the fact that there's this many people trying to or already in elected office. who are involved in or believe parts of this. And
I will say, to that point, I believe of this lot, only a few of them have, to what I could see, have actually held elected office on state level. I think I saw at least 3 I can remember who have had jobs in state assemblies before before running for higher office. The others are all private citizens or.
Right, but the ones who are already in office and running again, that's the number that concerns me. That
I'm pretty sure in those cases they weren't actively openly QAnon supporters
until recently.
After they were already in office.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, if you want to learn more about QAnon but don't want to engage with it, which I feel is the smartest thing, there's all kinds of shows and podcasts about this. I highly recommend QAnon Anonymous. They're basically the OGs. Check them out everywhere podcasts are available. You can find us on SoundCloud and on Twitter at Informed and Confused, at InfoConfused. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, actually, real quick, we got a little bit of time here. I'm going to go ahead. As I said, I've got a full list here. I'm just going to run down this list real quick. I'm going to give you the name and the constituency they are running in. If any one of these individuals is running in a constituency you happen to live in, we'd ask, please go ahead, go out, do your civic duty, vote, and keep these jackasses from the reins of power.
People fought and died for your right to vote. The least you can do is use it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So we have first to go over the list for the general election. You have Joyce Bentley from Nevada running for the 1st Congressional District. Lauren Boebert running for the Colorado 3rd Congressional District. Mike Cargill, the California 35th Congressional District. Aaron Cruz, the California 36th Congressional District. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia 14th Congressional District. Allison Hayden, California 15th Congressional District. K.W. Miller, Florida 18th Congressional District. Buzz Patterson, California 7th Congressional District. Joe Ray Perkins, Oregon U.S. Senate. Nika Peterman, California 13th Congressional District. Billy Prempeh, Prempeh, New Jersey 9th Congressional District. Theresa Rayburn, Illinois 2nd Congressional District. Angela Stanton King, Georgia 5th Congressional District. Johnny Teague, Texas 9th Congressional District. Anton Tucker, New York 14th Congressional District. Rob Weber, Ohio 9th Congressional District. Philanis White, Illinois 1st Congressional District. Now, the remainder of the ones on this list are all running in Republican primaries. So if you are a Republican out there, go ahead, do your party a favor, and prevent these people from coming anywhere near authority. Darren Aquino, Florida 19th Congressional District. Phil Arlingus, Tennessee 1st Congressional District. Shiva Ayyadurai, Ayyaddurai, Massachusetts U.S. Senate. Ron Curtis, Hawaii 1st Congressional. Vic DeGramont, Florida 20th Congressional. James Dickens, Hawaii 1st Congressional. Elizabeth Felton, Florida 21st Congressional District. Thomas Gilmer, Connecticut 2nd Congressional District. Winnie Hartstrong, Missouri 1st Congressional District. Bob Lancia, Rhode Island 2nd Congressional District. Tracy Lavorin, Massachusetts 2nd Congressional District. Jesse Melton, Florida 22nd Congressional District. James Mitchell, Washington 8th Congressional District. David Schuster, U.S. Senate from Tennessee. Dan Severson, Florida 19th Congressional District. Reva Sherrill, Florida 21st Congressional District. Danielle Stella, Minnesota 5th Congressional District. Darlene Swaffer, Florida 22nd Congressional District. Nichelle Williams, Tennessee 1st Congressional District. Lauren Witzke, Delaware U.S. Senate. And Daniel Wood, Arizona 3rd Congressional District.
Dan's got wood. Bye, everybody.
I will say one thing after hearing the list. There are exceptions, of course, like the Minnesota and Ohio, but for the most part, those seem to be southern states.
Let's see.
Even out west. Well, there were a couple in Washington.
Arizona, Delaware, Tennessee, Florida, Minnesota, Florida, Tennessee, Washington, Florida, Massachusetts,
A lot in
Rhode
Florida.
Island, Missouri.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Well, remember, some of those are doubled up in the same. They're fighting for the same
Right.
district. Nevada, Colorado, California, Georgia, California, Florida, California, Oregon, California, New Jersey, Illinois,
California's
Georgia,
always
Lot in
way more
California,
divided
Texas,
than
New York.
it looks, just because of the population densities.
Yeah.
Ohio, Illinois, Florida, Tennessee, Massachusetts,
Well, and there's
Hawaii,
Northern
Florida,
California and Southern
Hawaii.
California, and they're very
different
different
places.
Californias.
Florida, Connecticut, several from Hawaii, which I find unusual. But yeah.
You don't see Republicans from Obama's birthplace being furious after the birther scandal, being like, you know what? This is how I stick it to him. You don't see that
I can see
quasi
that. I
revolution,
guess I can see
especially
that.
because birtherism has its origin with goddamn Trump.
And yeah, in other states like New Jersey and New York and that are on here, so it's not like you said, just because a state is liberal or conservative doesn't mean it doesn't have smaller liberal or conservative enclaves.
Well, and we also have to remember,
Yeah.
just because these people align themselves with Q doesn't mean they believe in every single one of the conspiracies. They may
I'd say-
throw the aliens out the window, but be like, yeah, no, Pizzagate and everything, there's totally child trafficking.
I'd say a fair amount of them were apolitical before this, and Trump has driven them to a party.
yeah. I believe the statistics actually bear out a large portion of Trump's electoral base in 2016 was people who hadn't voted in years.
Yeah, this was people
He
coming
drew
out
in
of the
a lot of
woods,
people
yeah.
into the electorate.
Yeah.
I
I think
think that's
that
about
Yeah.
wraps
Yeah, no,
us
I
up.
already said bye. I'm done.
Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Informed and Confused. I'm Ben.
I'm Alan.
I'm Nick.
Bye.
There's a little garage on a small town street. I like to meet my friends there every week, and I know we'll talk about some facts and things, history and science and some crazy shit. Talking it out with Alan, Ben, and Nick, and I know that it's gonna be a weird ass show. Ooh, insanity abounds. Ooh, the world is spinning round. Now we're gonna break it down.